We're going to add something to our three things. We're making it very, very simple. The assumption in non-duality is being ourselves reality. Yeah. Does being mean I was being and I'm not being now and I hope I will be being later? No, there's no time in this. Being ourselves reality at any time, any place. The assumption is no matter how or what appears, we are being ourselves reality before we masquerade as something else or anything like that. Yeah. So there's a basic assumption taken to be a fact that we are that which many of us are seeking. So we are being ourselves reality. Not difficult. Yes. Being is a verb, really. Not we're not a beer of reality. It's being ourselves reality. So we are a verb, not a noun doing a verb or being done to by a verb, but we are a verb, which is being what? Reality. Hmm? That's the assumption. Now you can argue with it or not, or believe something else, but I humbly believe that's the assumption or the bottom line of this invitation. Then, because of that, when you arrive at any place you've wanted to arrive at, it always tells you on having never left. Yes? So, how would, in the cacophony of achieving and losing and seeking and finding and then losing and getting qualified and then disqualified, being ourselves reality whispers to us on having never left. Yeah. So you hear in us all these times you attempted to arrive at something or meditate yourself into something or do service into something or through devotion, it basically, when you seem to have had that arrival, which is quite temporary usually, it whispers to you, if you have the ears to hear, like supposedly Jesus said, everyone has ears and eyes, most people, but it's if you have the ears to hear and the eyes to see, that's a little different than having ears and eyes. Yeah. Ears and eyes are hearing a lot of shit here and seeing a lot of things. Yeah. But if you have the ears and the eyes to hear, this is what it whispers uh, on having never left. So the condition that you hope for that would simulate a conceptual condition of what we really are, when you ever have a free sample of feeling that, it informs you on some level on having never left. So you did not go anywhere to have to go back to what you are. See, we have been believing a whole lot of stuff, just like when you look at uh, people's hope to arrive really is being used by the head to reinforce an imaginary fact that you left. Yeah. So when you believe somehow you did something or you missed the boat or you didn't get the manual or you did something terrible that exempted you from your inherent condition, yeah, we want to look and become that again or arrive there again, and this time I'm never going back if I get there, and I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be pure and simple and stuff like that. Yes. But really all of that drive to arrive is being used to emphasize an imaginary fact that you left. Yeah. So you get it in a way, because the logic of looking is based on you're not that which you're looking for, obviously, or you wouldn't be looking. Yeah. If if what you were looking for is what's looking, that should really give you the ability to see through the looking for. Yeah. If what's looking is actually what you're looking for, and what's looking is just like a verb as being ourselves reality. What's looking isn't it what it's I'm what's was looking and I'm what's gonna be looking. No, what's looking right now, the awareness of this event right at this moment, yeah, is what we're looking for. So what's looking is what we're looking for. Yeah. Where are you going to see a change. Are you going to see a change in what's looking? No. What's looking is always has been what's looking, but the looking for is going to change. Now, there may be a drive to keep looking for, but you'll see it's not you that's looking for what's looking. And obviously, if it's not you looking for what's looking, you're what's looking. That's the leap that doesn't take any, you don't jump on this leap. Yeah. There's just a recognition of all that drive to arrive is actually being used to reinforce that you've left. And the truth is that you have never left what you are. No matter what you have thought or believed or been told or been tattooed here, every tattoo may never leave the skin, but the skin's dying. Yeah. So there's no permanent tattoo in a literal way because you're tattooing something that's impermanent. Yeah. So this whole idea that I'm going to arrive and stabilize a condition that is of thousands of other conditions, good luck. Because the condition that's having that condition or wanting that condition is going to stop. Yes. That which is looking for this idea of you is going to end. Yeah. So no one has a permanent tattoo because you're not permanent. Yeah. This is the beauty of the message. It's like the idea of water, water running over rock changes the rock. Can you actually see the change? No, but a change comes about because it's constantly moving, and it's eroding that which it's moving over. We're in a space that's constantly being that space. Yeah. Sooner or later, when you stop being directed by this mental activity that's constantly looking and seeking and trying to get, when you lose interest in that, you're going to have a pause. And that pause is of the original pause. Yeah. You're going to get a sense of what you are that can put to rest tons of fucking, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, it could be, blah, blah, blah. No, it's like your cloth is so dyed, D-Y-E-D, there's no option to argue, well, it could be red or it was once blue. Yes? The color is so vivid. The present moment of nowness is so vivid, it overrides all the paintings over it. Yes? I have an image of what I think now is, and where is that image being held now? Yeah? You can't take a picture of now. You're taking a picture in a now of tons of things. You can't take a picture of now. Yeah. So this is trippy because the mental logic, if you had other options, you see it's insane, literally. It's myopically insane. And this logic can't expand past its programming. The mental logic cannot become unmental. It just can't. It's a mental logic. That's its nature. Yeah. And it can only see a certain spectrum. It can only understand to a certain point. And everything that it gets engaged with is seen as how it pertains to the system itself. Yes. And while we're looking inside of that failed system, not at the failed system. We're still looking from the failed system, not recognizing it's a failed system to look from. Yeah. I mean, how many times there's a statement in the Course in Miracles, a lot of people come from that here. The Course in Miracles says a very simple thing. It says that you should be sure of, which is the brain interprets to the body of which it is a part. Yeah. The brain, which is collating, taking in all the data, has a confirmation bias already. The data isn't seen in an original new way. It's seen as a formulated way, and it ensures the data will support the fucking confirmational bias. Even though it's uncomfortable, It'll just, the facts won't be seen as facts, and you'll have your own facts. Yeah. So what can a failed system show you? It's failed. Yeah. Does that mean you failed? No. That's how the failed system likes it to feel. When you experience the failed system you're relying on, you feel you failed. That's what happens. You get guilty and you have shame based on a systemic failure we are taking yourself to be. So when, of course, if it's you that failed, do you want to know that? Obviously not, because you have a sense that you're a failure to begin with. So of course you're going to deny and fucking avoid and distract and shit like that, because in that state you can't look at it fearlessly because you think you're looking at you. Yeah. I don't want to have any more information that it proves I'm a failure anymore. Let me have the ignorance, that bliss that comes from ignorance. I don't want to know anymore. Let me just know my own imagination and let it just go there. The failed system, what can it show you? It's failed. And you see that failure not from the system because you're not in it. You're not in this system. You're being had by it. You're like this incredible possibility trying to fit into a very, very tight suit. Yeah. Because we don't know any better. And it says that in the book. You're going to listen to this thing that your head has made to be yourself. And why wouldn't you not? Well, now we have a lot of suspicion why we shouldn't be listening to it, because it's playing God on us, so to speak. Oh, what are you talking about? When you wake up in the morning and the head tells you how the whole day is going to be, what's that but playing God? What is it when it tells you your life is going to suck? It's playing God. What happens when you start feeling a little weird and it tells you it's the beginning of a lifelong depression? That's playing God. What about when you're feeling joy and it says you don't deserve it? That's playing God. Yes? The head is playing God. You are not playing God. You are being played by the head that's playing God. And the funny thing is, you're being played as the God juice, so to speak. We are reality. And we're being played in a way to live as if we're in another reality. Of course, this whole dream can only last a certain amount of time, but it's a subjective experience, and 1 second here can feel like a fucking eternity. I have been under the influence of a mental manufactured hell many, many times on drug addiction. I have suffered intolerably based on what I was believing. I remember this one time I got arrested and I was on an LSD trip and I got arrested and I didn't know what I was or anything. And I came to and I was squatting in a room, a dark room, and the whole room was dark green paisley moving, all paisley living things. And there was this, I was pissing, and I had blood on my legs and I was squatting. And I would look at this, the door of this room, and there'd be a window, and someone would go by and it would look like an intergalactic fucking space cadet or something. Then another time would go by, and then I realized it's the highway patrol. So they're walking by, and it starts dawning on me, I'm fucking in jail. And here I am, and I'm thinking I'm God, and that I created boredom. And now I was going to live in an eternal boredom. And I'm telling you, that could not possibly happen, but it sure felt like it was completely happening. I had never been more bummed out than my whole life than that moment when I thought I was going to live in an infinity of boredom. Yes. That was under LSD. You're under a fucking complete trance now. Shit's making mountains out of molehills all day. You believe you may come from the Ozarks. You never were in the Ozarks. It's like this head just makes this shit up. And yet there's so much faith in it, it can produce an effect right now. which is, I think, described in the Course of Miracles as a causeless effect. What would be a causeless effect? You have them at night in dreaming. They seem like a caused effect in the dream. The tiger in the dream is causing you to be incredibly anxious, yes? But then you wake up in the morning. Now you had that experience of the fear. Well, what caused it was a dreamt tiger. So that is a causeless effect, yeah? Most of us are suffering from a huge amount of causeless effects. The head is making shit out of nothing. And because there's great faith in that head, that nothing seems to be something. And we live as if we're getting electrocuted a little bit all day, getting zapped with incredible terminal anxiety. No one's going to love me, not this. And it's unbelievable. Yeah. So this is a simple message. Someone just sent me something and said, I'm seeing something about me. And I said, well, what you're seeing is not you. Oh, yeah. And now at that moment, the seer of it is not you. Yeah. If you are packaged as a noun, it's not you. When someone sells you a bottle of the Colorado River and says and verifies it has been stamped, it came from the Colorado River, that Colorado River is missing something, which is the rivering. Yeah. 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 All right. This isn't about shortening the trip. This isn't about paying off by doing some deeds to pass certain requirements you believe you have to fill to be okay. This isn't about that. This isn't about helping you get over something. It's about the fact that we are being ourselves reality. And then the fact that if every time I leave and I arrive back, it tells me I have never left, then therefore there was no arrival because I never left. Yes? So this whole story and belief in arriving and then actually unarriving, which is more of the story, is bogus because you're whispered on having never left. And then from the Course in Miracles, I need do nothing. So being ourselves reality, on having never left, I need do nothing. Does that mean nothing is going to happen? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's going to mean doing is going to go on, but there won't be a doer. Yeah, there never was and there never will be. Hallelujah. If you see doing, not through the eyes of the doer, you may see the doing. You did something 45 years ago, and as the doer, you're still captured by that doing. You go back to it, you pay homage to it, you light a candle at it. I did something. Some people aren't even at 45 years here, but I know people who worship in that temple of remorse and regret based on they were a doer of something that was unimaginable that they ever did it. Yeah. How much shit has happened while you've been sitting here doing, breathing, skin, the things that are living on the skin? Yes. It's a cacophony of doing constantly. Yes. Yet we, in all our glory, all our myopic glory, go back and look at the past through this little myopic hole and go, and there's like an umbilical cord all the way there so we can prove the pulse of self right now. Yes. I was the doer, therefore I am the doer now. uh, you're not going to ever forgive yourself. What you did was unforgivable. The great news is you didn't do it. It's not about you never did it, it never happened. It happened, but you didn't do it. At best, if you want to stay in the storyline of an action figure, you were driven. And if you were driven, it excludes you as the driver. You are truly a self-driving car. Yet we're obsessed with this idea of the story of the self being a car, that when we're driven, we still take the role of being the driver and take all the blame. Every time my Toyota parked in front of that bank that got robbed, I'm thinking I'm one of the robbers. You give it an inch, it's going to give you a history. It is. It's going to give you a history, because it cannot prove itself now. Its proof is historical. It says, I was Paul, and history is also the future. Yeah, I was Paul, I will be Paul, therefore I am Paul. It can't start at I am Paul. It can't, because there's nothing there. It starts as I was Paul, I will be Paul, therefore I am Paul. And then the I am right now is used to verify Paul. Unbelievable. So I feel alive as Paul. I'm awake. Oh, no, I'm not. As Paul, I'm definitely not awake. But you are awake. Why do you think why do you think you're up at 2 a.m. attending to thoughts? Because you're awake. Yeah. You can't tell me Paul's awake. Paul's not awake, but you're awake. Yeah. Paul could only hope to be an imaginary awake person. Yeah. Uh, a lot's going to be revealed to us, like it says in recovery. This power is going to constantly reveal to us. A lot of revelations are going to be about doership and thinkership and hearership and time. All these things are going to be reviewed not by the head, but by something in us. And you're going to come up with a whole new understanding about it. Yeah. And you'll see it'll be so obvious, like, why does some days go super slow? Because you don't want to be there. And why does some days go super fast? Because you're really enjoying yourself. Enjoyment seems very fleeting. Being bummed out seems like the daily trudge. Yes. So if you soar without a personal way, soar that which is giving meaning to things. And one meaning is, if I'm feeling good, it gets worried about how long it's going to last. And the same thing, if it's feeling bad, says it's the beginning of a lifelong depression. Do you want to live under that interpretation? Do you need to have an 800-page thesis on it? Just use that one example. Does it allow you to enjoy shit when you're enjoying it? Probably not. Does it forecast you're going to be in hell forever when you feel a little bit of discomfort? Yes. You want that to be the interpretive event? This isn't about an intense study. All you have to do is see the failedness of the system. One example can do it. Yeah. All you have to see is what you're not. Just once. It gives you the possibility that all this that I thought I was looking from, I actually can see. Therefore, I must not have been looking from it this whole time. Exactly. Yes. So this whole time you have lived as if you were that thing that you were actually seeing. You were seeing Paul, yeah, but you live as if you are Paul, but you see selfing, yeah, yet you live as a self, but you see selfing. You see the activity of selfing that has you whistling the same old tune. That I'm the doer, the thinker, the this or that. I'm a long-lasting, independent, separate entity. I can never imagine a moment of an absence of being a body. Yeah, can't. Yeah. I mean, this isn't like 800 pages of revelation. It could be a sentence. It can be a simple little tweak where something, just like we had that person here one day, and he was saying, I could be standing here going, I'm never going to get it. And the emphasis is I have failed and I have to work harder. Or the same, another person could stand there, go, I'm never going to get it. And it's hallelujah, because they realize I can't get what I am. It's all emphasis. It's all fucking emphasis. And we have been living a narration emphasizing the idea of being a long-lasting, independent, separate entity. And we speak a language that has us as a doer of shit we have nothing to do with in a lot of cases. And so we basically are chanting ourselves into a mental condition in a way, seemingly. It's not true, but it can appear to be true. Yeah. And for many of us, it's truly appearing to be true. And the head is trancing, you're feeling, you have a sense of individuality, and the only way your logic could imagine, if there's a sense of individuality, there must be an individual. Just like if there's doing, there's got to be a doer. Yeah. People cannot sit still with the idea there's just doing. If it's not you or me or the government, it's got to be God. Something's doing it. Yeah. Yes, the same thing. We have a sense of individuality, and we can't imagine that could be there without an individual. But the head manufactures a sense of individuality, and there is no individual. Yeah. Tons of doing, no doer. But it feels like it. Exactly. It feels like it. You feel like it. That's manufactured. You feel like it. And therefore it's true. No, feelings are not facts. Senses don't mean there's an origin of that sense. Yeah. There's a sense of individuality, and then there's the sense of free will. Yeah. The sense of free will can only thrive in a sense of individuality. Everyone wants to look at the free will, but doesn't want to look at the sense of individuality that's wanting to look at the free will. You'll lose interest in both. You'll lose interest if it's predetermined or free will, because you've lost interest in the sense of individuality. And if there's loss of interest in the sense of individuality, there'll be less of an individual. Yeah. Instead of the individual trying to become less of an individual, which is more of an individual, there'll be a recognition there is a sense of individuality, and you will lose interest in that sense of individuality. The sense is what projects the noun. The noun is not having the sense of individuality. The sense of individuality is used to project the noun. Yeah. So you see that shadow on the wall, and you imagine it's a real you that's projecting it. Yes. So we live by shadows, and all the light gets dispelled or gets drunk into that shadow. And then we're blind, basically, literally blind. So that's why if you have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, because eyes and ears aren't seeing and hearing this. That's not their job they've been given. They've been listened, they've been meant to see things and to hear things. And in the hearing things and seeing things, it reinforces the idea it's a thing that's hearing things and seeing things. Yes? Hear a thing, there a thing, hear a thing, there a thing. There's a freedom, it's inherent. This is not a fucking, this is World War III. No, it's disarming, completely disarming. Yeah. This action figure could care less at times. Wow, that's terrible. He should be a giving, emphatic action figure. No, that's not me. So all these things that used to be for, I was so busy trying to swat them away, but they could never have landed anyway. But I believed they were real, and I wanted to not be a fraud, and I wanted not to feel like that. And by me not wanting it, I gave it more life than fucking ever. This is what happened in recovery when I said, I'm a fraud. I'm fucking completely self-centered. I don't give a shit about you. Hallelujah. Because I'm not that. And oh, I'm really seeing the corroded core of me. No, you're not. You're not that corroded core. Yeah. See your way. Tell the fucking truth and then hold it with, I'm not that. Yes. Didn't you, if you were afraid to be a fraud, didn't you feel like one all day? I met a lot of saints that are selfish, very selfish. They're trying to become unselfish by being saintly. Yeah. Just realize you're being used. Yeah. You're going to be employed no matter what. Yeah. Something's going to use you. Some wind is going to see you as a sail. Yeah. And it's going to blow you. And there's basically two streams of wind. One we call the infinite, the other is called the finite self. Yeah. You're going to be blown. And the funny thing is, you can be blown by both winds. When you're blown by the self wind, it says it's the only wind there is. But you can be blown by the bigger wind and feel or think you're traveling the direction of the lower wind, but you're not. It's being overridden completely. And that which you thought had no value is now being seen as valuable. And all this stuff starts to happen. And you can't imagine it because you're still being blown by the little wind. But no. Yeah, that's just the tale of the action figure. Do you think you actually purify as a thing? Do you? No. All right. Thank you.
David Bitterman had his hand up, but he put it down. I don't know if you had
That
something
was
to say,
wise,
David.
Bitterman. That was wisdom, Bitterman. Yes. Anyone else?
Mike D.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for these teachings. I have a question in the sense of, I appreciate how you explain the mental mechanical process of thinking, feeling, sensing, and doing creates this manufactured sense of self. And it seems like this manufactured sense of self coming from the factory line is already pre-assembled. Usually when you get something from the manufacturer, batteries are not included. You have a little bit of time to put a few screws in to construct whatever you got from the factory. This is already manufactured by the thinking, feeling, sensing, and doing. Thoughts about feelings, feelings about thoughts, thoughts and feelings about an action and a sensation about it. It's already so constructed. And then what's bewilderment is this sense of self changes with each circumstance. For example, I may have a sense of self that I'm a father to my child. The next moment, I have a sense of self that I'm the son to my mother or the husband to my wife. So even this sense of self doesn't stand a chance to understand, it doesn't seem, unless it's whacked so hard by the teachings that you're giving. Because even though you're dragging us to the pond and saying, hey, listen, you're not that sheep that you take yourself to be, the next moment it appears to be a different sheep. I think unless a person dunks the head of the sheep into the pond and drowns it, and that's out of my doing, that's just out of the doing of being whacked so hard by the teaching, I don't think I stand a chance, or the sense of self does not stand a chance to understand.
That's right. Great. And remember,
That's where it leaves you at that,
all the different sheeps have one thing in common, the wool.
Not that.
Well, yeah, you see the wool of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sense of self is like smoke. It takes different formations, yeah, based on things. But the fact is, there's nothing casting it. There's no self. There's just a sense of self.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
have no problem in the sense of self. The problem arose is when I thought I was the self. That's when I wanted to control and manage the sense of self. Yeah. So it's
So is
been
that along the lines of at least seeing the cracks in the sense of self? For example, I'm just coming to realize now that every time I've tried to take the advice of this self to try to fix any type of relationship, whether it's with my wife or my mother, or have a talk with my kids, I can finally see that the very thing that I was trying to convey, this sense of self, the confusion of the self, is part of the morale. It never was very fulfilling.
there
So
you go,
starting to see
bro.
that it's the failed system, that this sense of self, whatever it's tried to accomplish, and I'm a successful person, but even despite that, there's so many different cracks.
Of course, of course.
And that's the failed system.
Well, yeah, it's
That's,
one.
but that's the only thing that I can see when looking at the pond, is that just the failed system is the cracks, but I cannot see that that's not me. I can just say it's a failed system. There's still not a stepping away saying that's not me, but I'm losing interest in a failed system.
That's the point. Yeah,
That's the only distance that I can go.
yes. We have great faith that if uh, that which has been gung-ho about the system recognizes it's failed, it may lose a significant amount of interest in it, which allows other possibilities to come up. Yeah. So if there's, in a dualistic manner, they would say, all right, a myopic view would be a limited system of looking at everything as how it pertains to a you that you're not. That would seem to be pretty myopic. Yes? Yeah. All right. So, and then there's the panoramic. Now, the myopic wants to be everything, so it can't indulge the idea that there's a panoramic. But the panoramic completely is allowing the myopic to appear. Yeah. So you can have a new view of the myopic while the myopic is doing its activity. Yeah. And it can be so cool that the CNN news channel that's been giving news for 70, 60 years suddenly becomes Comedy Central without changing any of the pundits or anything. There's just the audience is in on the joke. Yeah. Where the audience was taking it to be CNN News, it now sees it as like the Daily Show. You remember Jon Stewart and stuff. So this is what happens when the myopic, you see through the myopic at the the panoramic, and you see the myopic. In my case, it just turned into Comedy Central. I find a lot of like Saturday Night Live skits in there all day. It's just incredible, literally. And the failedness of it is it's not AI, it's not growing. Yeah. And it has an incredible amount of limitations. It has ceilings that it cannot go beyond or above. Yeah. And when you run into those things and they blame the reason why the wall appeared was the car, was something wrong with the car. No, it has those limitations lead to a lot of disillusionment, I feel. Yeah. So there's a very healthy disillusionment in what you had been listening to most of your life without knowing how it was being heard or done to or presented. And when you finally start getting you start seeing it from another place, you get, at first it's delusioning, and then it turns into comedy for me, which is awesome. I mean, to me, that's like taking like a turd and getting some gold out of it. It's pretty cool. Yeah. And I don't know how or what does that, but I have a intimacy of a feeling around it. Yeah. That I believe everything has an incredible amount of value by what's looking at it, literally. Yeah. Not the thing itself, but how or what is looking at it is the value giver. And this life seems to have a lot more value than I was seeing it in the past. And in a sense, it doesn't have any added value in a lot of ways. It's just been giving a whole different meaning, yeah, than it was being given before. Yeah. So, and I don't care how it happened. I'm just happy and relieved. We call it the bondage of self. To be relieved of the bondage of self is an incredible gift, let's say here. So, yeah, part of it is recognizing the failedness of the system, and then you're going to be taken places. You don't go anywhere, you just get taken places. Things get revealed and things happen, and then you more stuff occurs without looking to occur more stuff. Yeah. Yeah, because now you're awake and information isn't being siphoned off completely to the myopic. There's the information is going to the myopic, but it's being seen before in the panoramic. Yeah. And then the myopic, when it tries to make a news broadcast, it's seen as a comedy show. Where for years it seemed like CNN News. Yes. So and you can't know it at all, possibly. If you're up the S of up the S of self, you're not privy to much information, literally. You really aren't. I think satsang provides a space for things to pop, or like Kathleen would say, she learns a lot without learning or knowing she's learning. Well, I think satsang has that ability. It really does. And a lot of growth will happen without you noticing it, for sure. And that's why it didn't grow in a mutated way. Once there's the claiming that it's you growing, that growth goes inverted. It goes up the ass of self again. Yeah. So thanks, Mike. Thank you for that share. Very good.
Okay, the other Alex has
The other
his hand up. Mm-hmm.
Hi there.
Is he better? Is he better than the former Alex? The other Alex? All right. How you do, Alex?
I'm okay, thanks. Thank you for doing this and having me. So I've been studying non-duality for like 5 years, and I never had a relief of the bondage of self, or I don't think that myself can get it, but I always thought that there was supposed to be like some kind of awakening or something. And is it true that the self just doesn't get it and I will never get it?
At this moment in time, I would say yes. Yes. The self doesn't get it. First of all, because there isn't a self to get anything. Yeah. There's selfing. It's a mental activity that implies something. And then we live as if we're that which is implied. Yeah. You never feel like you're becoming a self. You feel like you already are one. Yeah. You don't believe there's something that you could turn away from. You already think you are a thing. Yeah, it's not like I'm worried I'm gonna think I'm a thing. No, the thinking is you are a thing already. Yeah, the thinking has you as a self already. But in fact, this is all there is verbing here. So selfing is the mental activity when listened to implies that there's a self. And this happens, it's very easy to see when people get the idea of selfing, and then they call me over in the early days, and they would say, man, I get the selfing, and I've been selfing all day. No, that's not it. Yeah. So there was the sense of self doing the selfing. Yeah. Or the sense of self being done to by the selfing. That's the product of the selfing, that. Yeah. That there's someone that's doing it or being done to by it. Yeah. It's not true. There's just selfing. If there was a self, there wouldn't be a need to selfing. It would probably be more othering most of the time. But the selfing is used to imply something. And that what is implied needs to be reinforced because it doesn't have any legs to stand on. So why do people obsess so much? Because the obsession of the head reinforces that it's you that's obsessed. That's the whole point of everything. You're wanting to arrive. The whole point of that is to make more believable that you left something real. So I left a terrible place and now I am arriving to a better place. But in fact, arriving in a better place it's like the here-there syndrome. Here you are, and then you believe that there's a better there. Let's say we used to use the example of I had an apartment, and one day, and I was fine, I enjoyed it, and then one day I was looking at this color advertising in the paper, and it was about this beautiful couch, and then I realized I don't have a couch in this apartment, and then I started to feel the effects of being couchlessness and shit, and then I started to resent the people who had couches that didn't tell me how incredibly great it is to have a couch. So I determined I'm going to get this couch, and that was the there. So now the here became inadequate, and I had this dream of the there. So then I worked very hard to get the couch and everything, and call everyone over to have this, the introductory couch party. No one shows up. They know about couches already. I get their couch, I take the plastic off, I sit on it, it's pretty cool. I look around, the rug doesn't match. So there's another there. I've got to get another rug. Yeah. So every there is inevitably going to be here. Yeah. And the inadequacies that you saw in here that triggered the wanting of the there is going to be found when the there becomes a here. Yes? This is slavery, mental fucking slavery. That's the beauty of having never left. You don't believe that it's here. Your head does not believe reality is here now. If it is, I'm unworthy of it. That's why I'm not feeling it or seeing it. I, as this thing, must do a whole lot to become ready. And where do all the requirements come from? The thing. You don't get a fucking text from God saying, all right, there's 30 things you've got to do before we meet next week. No, it's your head. It's the head. The head has you believing something that isn't true and then trying to make other shit to be true. Yeah. We're trying to make what's true to be true. We're trying to arrive at reality as reality. Yeah. Basically, we're trying to there's something we want to make true to be true. But the thing is, it's true. You don't have to make it anything. Just lose interest in all the shit, like it says in the old faith mind. You don't have to fucking look for the truth. Just stop cherishing your own opinions. Exactly. Yes? What? I can call off the search for truth. Yeah, because you're searching truth based on fucking opinions you're believing in that aren't true. So stop cherishing those misunderstandings. And then this is beautiful, because then when you hear faith mind as a thing, oh no, I have another order. I have to stop worshiping these opinions. And then we have an answer. No, you're not that which is worshiping the opinions. Yeah. So when we go stop cherishing the opinions, we're not saying you have to stop cherishing. You see, you're not the you that has any of the opinions. That's how you get freed from the opinions, through the you. Yes? The opinion is an ornament on the you. Belief ornament, creed ornament, preference ornament, bada baba. The ornaments need the fucking branches to hang on. If you lose interest in the fucking tree, the ornaments have nothing to hold on to. Opinions don't mean shit unless there's a someone who has the opinion. Yes? And then that someone gives a lot of meaning, and it's not the someone, the idea of the someone gives a lot of meaning to the opinions. Yeah? You want to lose interest in your opinions, lose interest in that which is giving the meaning to the opinions. Yeah. So when I read Faith in Mind, my head construed it as another set of orders. Oh, I've got to stop cherishing opinions. No, you don't. Just see they're not your opinions. Yes. The cherishing isn't the opinion, it's you cherishing the opinion. Yes. It's you cherishing the search for truth, which keeps you in a denial of being the truth. Yeah. Most spirituality, when presented, I saw as another fucking set of orders. I did. I'm going to have to do a lot of shit. I'm going to have to let go of shit that I don't seem to have any control over anyway. It was just even more demands. And then I heard non-duality, which was the beauty of it all. It disarmed the seeking for truth and the seeking for reality and the seeking for this and for the seeking for that, by losing interest in the seeker of all the shit. Yeah, and it works. That's why this isn't a 52-week program that we're going to accelerate as we get to the 30th week, and then we're going to be supercharged by the 50th week, and then the 52nd week you're going to get something, and then sign up for the next year. No, this is just a simple invitation. That which holds the opinion is the biggest opinion of all. Yeah. Lose interest in that which holds the opinion, then all the opinions will lose interest in the ability to hold you. Yes, there you go. I've watched it. I've watched it in slow time, how the house of cards fell. I watched what happens. Yeah. What? And then I have this platform to come and share, like a reverse engineering of how the fucking house seemed to be been built. It had never been built. It was never glued. It was just a bunch of cars that we saw in a formation that appeared to be a house. And we're just changing that formation. Yes. You see the bunch of cards and now you don't see the house. Yeah. And there'll be a bunch of cards constantly dealt in this life, but you won't see them as something that how you saw them before. Yes. All the shit won't make anything. It's just stuff going and going. Yes. There's a presence that's everything moves through this presence. Everything. Thoughts of past, present. Thoughts of future, present. Memories, present. Intimations of familiarity when you go see a thing you haven't seen in 10 years, present. Yes. Fear of, am I going to wake up tonight when I go to sleep? Present. 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 The overriding fucking emphasis is awareness. There's a lot of shit that you can become aware of. You can be a lot of shit that you may not be aware of, but the awareness itself is overriding completely. Yeah. Most of us get a sense of awareness by being aware of something. But mostly the energy goes to the something we're aware of, not the awareness of the something. And this is a shift in that. Yeah. It's a shift from emphasizing thing at the expense of space, and now emphasizing space and not at the expense of things. Yeah. I see things, I see things, but I see things in a sense of space, where before the things would override everything, and I'd be and then every little thing just reflected this thing. It was like a trance made by a kid with mirrors, just trancing out all day. It's fine and dandy. But I had a curiosity, man. I knew I was screwed, and I wanted to know, how that happened. I did. I had a curiosity, a big one, and I wanted to follow it. And it was like, all right, I'm gonna tie this string to this mouse, and then it's gonna show me where it comes from, the hole. So if I just follow the string, it'll go to the hole, and then I'll look in the hole and see what the fuck's there. Yeah. Because I mean, I lived in a period of addiction that was a pitiful, incomprehensible, demoralizing state. Something was moving through. This darkness was moving through the present for quite a while. And when I came out of it, I had no fucking clue how things were generated, what the fuck happened. And something beyond my comprehension struck me sober. And I mean, my mother's love couldn't do it. The state's desire for me to be fucking occupied couldn't do it. But something put an end to this urge that I thought was more than me. Yeah. And then that present, with that urge removed, there was no scars left, literally. I mean, you can make up stories, but some people, they're completely capsized by trauma. Other people, their stairways out, their staircase out. Yeah. So I don't think there's a real thing other than the mind that's dreaming here, the big M mind. I don't. I believe you can be cured by nothing, or you can be cured by the newest technological medicine. I don't believe the cure is based on either of them. I believe the cure is based on mind. These are my humble opinions that I do not cherish, but I'm sharing with you. Yeah, so I feel if you just sit around, because you're trying to open a door with a mental key, and the failure of it is the point. So trying to keep on moving. We had we used to have a room where we had the meeting, and the key for like 18 years never really opened it. You had to jingle it, jingle, jingle, jingle it. And sometimes it would take 5 minutes, 30 seconds. Then a friend of mine was quite good. He'd get it open faster. Yes. But it would be always like this. This is what we want. I want that mental logic to try to figure it out. I want to see it. I want it. It's like a hermit crab. I want it to come out of the shell and see the emperor with no clothes. Yeah. Just let it try to figure it out and get frustrated and think I understand it like this, but not get the results that you would believe by thinking you understand it. Yeah. Just to have that frustration and futility, because that's the point. Yeah. The point is you're never going to get it because you are it. Yeah. So try to get it as much. Try to I'm studied it for 5 years. Take another 5 more years. Yeah. And the utter frustration of not getting it will give you the news. The same news will be emphasized differently. And the bad news will be a hallelujah. Yeah. And you'll realize you'll lose interest and faith in the mental logic where there's a lot of faith and interest in. There is. So this is like the coyote and the desert tortoise. It wants the meat, but it can't get to the meat. And after a while, it realizes it and he splits. Yeah. We're just a little dumber than the coyote. You know, so we have every week just try to get some meat out of this. I wanted to help me get a date or something. Go to non-dual matchmaking or whatever. Who knows? You know, see how that works. And then the fails and the failure and the failure, and then there's going to be a bonanza. Yeah, wow. I'm never going to get it because it's like I'm never going to get back because I never left. Don't you see the logic? That's a switcheroo. Our head doesn't go that way. Our head, its dance is a linear past, present, future. It can't fucking improvise. Yeah. And this message plays with it to the point where it gets totally frustrated, and that's beautiful because you may lose interest in relying on that, which is completely fucking frustrated. Yep. I don't know. I did the best I could today. I swear.
Thanks for
It's difficult to, you know, well, whatever.
It
All right.
reminds me of when you talk about being in the moment and that state. And yeah, it's good.
The other Alex, yes, nice. Mike D, are you coming back for a second helping? All right.
Yeah, second serving, Paul, but I apologize. I know you've been working hard at this message.
I
A little bit tired.
don't.
But I want to go back to that sense of self. I'm sorry, the failed system. And when I think about it, it's a failed system. I'm almost giving importance to that thing as if it's relevant. So my question is, if I take a step back and I say the selfing process of thinking, feeling, sensing, and doing gives the impression of this manufactured sense of self, that taking a step back and trying to see that sense of self is like the snake that's being projected from the rope. Is that an act of intelligence, of insight, or is that the neurosis process of this failed system, me thinking about this sense of self?
It could
Is
be.
it a positive feedback loop, or is there a little short circuit of intelligence that's taken place?
It could be either.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where the wisdom to know the difference comes. Yes.
Yeah.
But you see, to make it relevant in this world of relevance is a first step. It's important to change, to see, to break down, to weaken its relevance by recognizing it's failed, because you're seeing everything in a sea of relevance. Yes. So, yeah, that to me is the proper way of looking at it at first. Yep. And then the head is going to claim whatever's going on, whatever. And if you're aware of that, its effects will be quite minimal. And if you're unaware of it, you're going to live its effects. So that's an event that you'll notice is wherever you are. So it can go either way at any time. Yes.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you, Paul.
When you start getting into that flow and you're getting into the habit of seeing it from what you're not, from what you are, there's faith in that recognition. Yes. And you have you don't have it, but the wisdom's there to know the difference because the claiming is going to go on no matter what. This isn't about, oh, when I recognize the head claiming everything, it's going to stop doing that. No, it doesn't, because it's not you doing it. It's mechanical. And so when you recognize that and you actually recognize it, the effects of its claiming is minimal. Yeah. See, this is the thing. It's not minimal because it stopped doing the claiming. No, it's minimal because you've lost interest in it. Yes. Yeah. And I humbly believe you're going to lose interest in a lot of stuff when you see it's not you. Because we've been looking from it as if it's us. And when you can get a look at it from somewhere else, my sense of what happened, at least where I am, was there was a migration of interest that left the preoccupation of this self. Yeah. And then that thing that was enslaving me somewhat in the day started to enriching my days. So I don't have to do anything today. I'm fine. Yes. I'm actually living a world of like a compound. I'm leaving here less and less because I don't need to go anywhere right now. And I'm not tired of these things. What I do, it's nice to try to break it down as best you can. Yeah, that's all. So let's say you put 10 times magnification, then 20 times magnification, and at one point everything disappears.
Well, it's almost like, the the person doing a magic trick on you, and then you finally see the little sleight of hand.
Yes.
It's just losing trick. He said, "Hey, let me show you a trick," and you've already seen the way he does it. It's like, I've already seen the trick and kind of wanting to move on. The only problem is the magic trick keeps on changing. It just seems to be another magic trick by another sheep.
It
Situational.
doesn't really. See, it makes it doesn't change the magic trick. Now the magic trick can keep changing, but you can see the magic trick, and then it's sort of like no matter how many clothes the emperor is wearing, you see the emperor has no clothes. So it's at the point of that it's a magic trick. It doesn't matter how slick or new it is. It's you recognize it's a magic trick. So therefore, that in a sense is what happens. Yeah. So it appears many ways, but in itself, it's a magic trick, and you have that understanding. So the emperor can wear a lot of different clothing and wardrobes, but you see it has no clothes, no matter what it's wearing. Yes. Yeah. You don't need to have it have like translucent clothes to see it has no clothes. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah. It's always adorning itself, but there's nothing there. So you come to some conclusions that are the end. Yeah. You have understanding has ends. There's certain understandings, they end. And then it's vision. You're not understanding anymore. It's not essential. You're awake now, yes, as you always been. But there's just a dog shit awareness of that awakeness, and the understanding has done its job, so to speak. But understandings come to an end where you're convinced, yeah, and therefore the need for understanding changes quite a lot, I feel. Yeah. There are dead ends you're going to go to that you thought were like lifelong highways. You're going to run. You're going to be brought to conclusions that are going to end curiosity about a lot of shit. You really are. And it just puts you more right where you are. Not more, but your attention and interest is sort of hovering in the vicinity of now, so to speak. Yeah. Yeah. This is like I used to say, when I was when I was younger and I got into spirituality, if that person saw me as I am now, this would motivate them to get into spirituality. This, where I am seemingly now, would be the least attractive thing to Paul who was 19, because it looks like it's very ordinary and shit like that. Yes, but the dog shit awareness is, I feel, is at the right height for most of us. So yeah. All right. Anyone else? Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike D. Pleasure. Pleasure to talk with you and stuff. All right, everyone.
Yeah, Alex put his hand up again, Paul.
All right, bring on Alex again. The other Alex.
Yeah, hello again. So is there a way to get rid of the sense of doership?
Why? Why do you need to get rid of it if you're not the doer?
Because it feels like I'm a doer.
That's what wants to get rid of the sense of doership, is the one that feels like it's a doer. There you go. That was a great illuminated explanation right there. Illustrated. Perfect. Yes.
It's like the self has its head up its ass and is seeking for the exit.
Well, if doership worked, it would, yeah. But now it's for some people, the doership seemingly hasn't worked, so now they want to be a non-doer as a doer. It's just a sense of doership. Yeah. I don't argue. I don't have a spiritual cathartic event when I go to Baskin Robbins and I walked in there assuming I wanted vanilla, and then suddenly mocha comes in my head, and I order mocha. I don't care. I don't care. It's a sense of free will. What the hell? And if you have that sense of free will, or there's just a sense of will, do the next right thing. How hard is that? Yeah. But who's doing the next right thing? Well, the one who thinks it has a sense of will, free will. So fucking do the next right thing. Yeah. We had this once in Dublin. We were giving a talk, and a guy came in and he was saying, "It seems so easy when you're saying you're not a body and shit like that." He says, "To me, it's impossible." Yeah, I said, as a body, it's impossible to imagine you're not a body. That's exactly right. That is the understanding of non-duality, bringing out the misunderstanding out of the weeds, and you see it's the body identity that cannot imagine that there is no body. That's incredibly fucking valuable knowledge. It is. If you allow it to be used, it's super valuable knowledge. See, you brought it out. It was brought out of it was out of the weeds, and you saw it. You saw the emperor with no clothes. Yeah. Oh, I had it happen with this. When I was in the Course of Miracles, actively with people in the Course, there was a lesson I emphasized, which was, I am not a body, I am free, for I am just as God created me, or something. So I would basically chant that, so to speak. And then after a few days of doing it, I had to download it. It told me the only thing that would chant it's not a body is a body identification. What you are is very clear it's not a body. So who the hell are you trying to convince by chanting you're not a body? The body identification. So I'm not interested in trying to convince the body identification to think it's not a body. I've lost all interest in that pursuit completely. I think it's one of the most efficient events that happen with me. I'm not wasting any time trying to change what can't be changed. Just fucking, it thinks it's a body, fantastic. Yeah. No, I have to convince it it's not a body. No, you don't. You're not a body. You don't have to convince what thinks it's a body that it's not a body. That is not a requirement. I humbly do not believe that is a requirement. I do not believe you have to do the impossible and convince a thing that it's not a thing. I do not believe that's a requirement. I just recognize that which thinks it is a thing is not you. Yeah, fantastic. Great value in that. Great value. All right, I'm going to go. Is that all right, Alex? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome, bro. Judy Lovins, thank you so much. I never even felt a ripple, or it was a beautiful, you drove the boat. Very nice. Yeah. Mike D, pleasure to meet you, and very interesting questions. Everett Nelson, hope you're in good hands, and thank you for all your support.
Yeah, thank you, Paul, for everything you've done.
You're more than welcome. Graham, Eric and Vista, David Lowe, Brian C., Mucci Fassett, Martin, John in Florida, Kerry, Keith Gagnon, nice to see you, Keith. Ben, nice to see Ben. Chris H., getting close to Christmas. Yeah, get those reindeers and shit, get ready. Yeah. We got Mika, Ilan, nice to see you, Ilan. Thanks for everyone's coming here and spending they're not theirs, but interest and attention. Annette W., Jamie. I don't know if I met you, Jamie, but if I haven't or I have, nice to see you. Alan Olson, Tomas, my Polish character. Roman Mueller. There he is. Kathleen. Nice to see Kathleen from Hudson Valley. Kathleen from Pennsylvania. Yeah, let's see. We've got Oksana. She's going to get in touch with me sooner or later. You're 6 hours behind, a day ahead with California. Phone number, Jules on vocal, Andre, Axel, friend in Germany, David Bitterman, as always, nice to see you, David. Mitch, Holly, Mina, just met Mina on the phone yesterday. Soren, Vlad, my main man, nice to see you, Vlad. All's well? Yeah, good. Jamie, yes. I think I got everyone. Martin, stuff. Hey, listen, thank you. Thank you for holding the space, and we'll be around. The schedule's pretty much on the money now. We'll be around here for a while. Hopefully. Thanks. See ya.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Paul.
Paul.
Gracias.